Welcome back to Sports Talking right here on SWKS Radio. I'm Cray.
I'm Phil.
Phil, first off, let's dive right into the Super Bowl. Boring. Yeah, in my opinion, it sucked. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan that's mad that my team lost. It was boring. 15 punts in the game. I think if anybody deserved that Super Bowl MVP, it was either the punter or the kicker.
I could not agree with you more on that. The MVP should have been either that punter for Seattle. How many times did he pin him inside the 5?
3 times.
Wow. I mean, and that one time he got him, I think, twice inside the 2.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the field goal kicker, what'd he get? 5 field goals?
Yeah, I mean, he finished with the most points in Super Bowl history.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think, and I agree that the running back had a good game, but a lot of that goes to the offensive line.
Right.
No line blocking, no running back running.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing is Seattle looked good. Their defense looked spectacular. Their offense did just enough. And that's all they had to do. In all honesty, everybody was talking about Sam Darnold going into this game, being scared. You know, Sam Darnold has had a turnover problem. He led the league in turnovers this season. The entire league he led. And as long as you don't put him into positions to make mistakes, he's going to be a serviceable quarterback.
He didn't have to do anything extraordinary other than just kind of hand the ball off. He made a few soft passes. So, it was a boring game. I agree.
Right.
We both agreed. We thought Seattle would win.
Yeah, we did. And the thing is, though, I don't think this Seattle team is that great. I don't think you look at any of the Super Bowl winners of the past 10 years and say they could beat them. Except maybe the Philadelphia-led team by Nick Foles. I don't think they're better than any Super Bowl team of the last 10 years.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm trying to look this up, but my lookup device isn't working with me. I was trying to look up the two games, or the 3 scored, the finals of the 3 games between the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Because the Rams scored a lot of points on them, so they've obviously got a pretty good offense on that LA Rams team.
Yeah, they do. So the last 3 games, I mean, we go to the one that began the season. 21-19 was the final. Rams got the win there. We go December 18th of 2025. The Seahawks get a 1-point victory in overtime, 38-37. And in the playoffs, Seahawks get the win, 31-27 over the Rams. And honestly, I would have been fine if we said, scratch the Super Bowl, give us game 4 of these teams. Because the Patriots flat out couldn't compete. A lot of credit to that defense of Seattle, but the Patriots' offensive line looked lost. And part of that was...
That's 85 points, Craig.
Yeah.
Well, LA scored 85 points on that team, and that means LA's defense or LA's offense pretty darn good. So I'd say it would validate the MVP for the NFL this year.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing is I would have been fine with a co-MVP, Phil. This is something we hadn't talked about, but the last time we saw a co-MVP was years ago. We've only seen 2 in NFL history. Can you guess those 2?
Yeah, me and you. Was that the year?
No. Believe it or not, you might be a little bit older than I.
Not by much.
No. Okay. The first time was in 2003 when it was Steve McNair and Peyton Manning, and then 1997, Barry Sanders and Brett Favre.
Yeah. Well, I will go and also defend my offensive lineman. So if you're an O-line guy and you're watching, tell the rest of your O-line friends we need to tune in to Phil and Craig Sports Talking because they like offensive linemen. And it's not that I'm against defensive linemen if it's an offensive game. The line wins the game, Craig, period.
It does.
And a lot of guys can be good running backs in the NFL if they've got the greatest line in front of them. A lot of quarterbacks can be good quarterbacks, and a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great running backs cannot be very good if the lineman is not very good. So
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith. Do you think Emmitt Smith was a better running back than Barry Sanders? No.
I do not.
No.
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not. So anyway, all right. So we both kind of gave a thumbs down for the game. If you're looking for comments about our opinions of the halftime show, we're not going to do it here, but we do have a different video you can watch on that. And we bring in a perspective from Puerto Rico. Louis who works with us, he's from Puerto Rico. So if you're interested in learning that Puerto Rican perspective, look at that other video for the halftime show.
Right. And I mean, hey, for watching my team get beat down like that, the Super Bowl halftime show might have been the best part of the entire game.
And you didn't like the
halftime show.
Wow, that says not very high marks for the game. So
Right.
I'll tell you this: my son-in-law. I watched the game down in Dallas with my son-in-law, and my son, and two of my sons were there. My third one wasn't. So anyway, my son-in-law before the game, Greg says, I'm a football fan, and outside of the two quarterbacks, I don't know any other names of the players on the teams. And I said to him, I'm with you. And I'm not sure I know the name of the New England quarterback. That's what I said.
There were a couple of Kansas guys on that Seahawks
I
roster.
know.
I'm glad that, they got it done.
Yeah, there were a couple guys from Kansas. So that was great.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? We're going to move on, or you got anything else on the Super Bowl?
That's all I've got for the Super Bowl. Phil, I want to take a major look at Kansas State basketball.
Man,
I said it last week.
You're on him. You're on that deal.
Man, here's the thing. Jerome Tang is a con artist. And honestly,
wow.
he conned Kansas State University and Gene Taylor into believing he was something he wasn't. I get it. That first year there, he looked legit. He brought a roster to the Elite Eight that, in all honesty, you look back on it, you could say it's not very good, but they had 2 NBA caliber players on that team. They were that good. And he brought them in, and he did a great job of bringing them. Since that time period, he is 45-46 since that Elite Eight run. Under 500 is unacceptable for a guy making $19 million a year. Phil, this week, they lost to Cincinnati. 91-62 was the final. Their fans in the student section were wearing bags over their head because they were so ashamed to be seen.
Well,
and after that, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, let's just say that there probably wasn't a line 3 days before the game for the students to try to get in like there was in Allen Fieldhouse.
Right. And that's the thing is, you look at this team, and they should be winning more games. K-State has one of the higher budgets for college basketball. Look at last year. They paid $2 million to bring in Coleman Hawkins. And what did Coleman Hawkins do for this team? He gave you 8 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. This year, they bring in P.J. Haggerty, who for $2 million, who's giving you 23 points a game, second in the nation in scoring. And they can't create wins out of that.
Yeah. I would tell you this, Craig, and this is the administrative view. They've got a program problem, not a coaching and or player problem. They have a program problem because Jerome Tang is blaming the players, and the athletic director is blaming the supporters that they don't have a big enough NIL pile of money. And basically everybody's pointing fingers at the other guy rather than saying, let's fix this problem.
Right.
And how in the world, I can say it this way. I never heard of Jerome Tang before he came to K-State. So how then does a guy get $19 million deal and he's got, what did you say, the 4th largest buyout?
It would be the largest buyout in all of college basketball history.
Wow. So, I mean, they either ride this horse till it's dead, or they got to pay a lot of money to get out of this deal. How much longer on his contract?
A while. And that's the thing is I don't know how long Gene Taylor plans on sticking around. He's getting up there in age. Regardless, if a new AD comes in, you're gone. So I've heard rumors of them negotiating a buyout at a lesser price. I don't care. I want him out of here by the time they get their butts kicked in Houston this Saturday. I don't want to see Jerome Tang coaching for this team anymore because, like you said, it's an accountability problem. He's pointing fingers. When they lost against TCU on Saturday, Phil, he said, I'm hurting. I'm hurting for them. I'm frustrated because I feel like there are things I can do better. To turn around and they play on Wednesday and they get their butts kicked. And the thing he says in the press conference was, I'm embarrassed. These dudes don't deserve to wear this jersey. There will be very few of them in this jersey next year. Hey, you bring in a brand new transfer class every single year out of the portal. That's how you've been rebuilding your teams. That's your fault. Yeah. Nobody wants to keep putting on this K-State jersey because you're paying them millions of dollars to bring in a new team.
Yeah, and that's just inherent with the problem with NIL in college is that how do you manage that and how do you maintain any kind of, I guess, team pride or school pride. How do you do that in the NIL? You got the answer? Aren't you a psychology major?
No, wrong Schilling. That'd be the
Okay,
sister. But
okay, my bad. I knew there was one of you. I didn't remember which.
yeah. It just seems like there's a runaway bus, and instead of, hey, let's figure out a way to stop it, no, let me throw everybody in front of the bus to try to slow it down before it gets to me. That's
Yeah,
what Jerome Tang is doing. And it is annoying because the final thing he said in that interview after that loss against Cincinnati was, I'd be wearing a paper bag too if I were them.
wow.
These are the
What?
same fans he sat up in that section and danced and did the Wabash and took pictures with. They are now not supporting you. You want to be supported? You win games.
And the other part about that makes me remember that is when they beat Kansas and he got up on the table and took off his shirt. Not only will he never live that down, he shouldn't ever live that down.
No.
Because the KU fans said, we would never do that if we beat K-State. Because the team is expected to beat everyone. And that's the mindset that you have. One of my first mentors, he taught me, he said, if you're gonna be $1 million radio station, you have to act like $1 million radio station. And I think that's where the problem is at K-State. They're not acting like a winning program.
Yeah, you're 100% right. KU beat Arizona, the number one team in the nation, and didn't storm the court. Here's the thing that I get the biggest kick out of, Phil. And they beat Kansas. And they storm the court. Jerome Tang gets up and speaks, and he said, we're going to allow this one court storming, but you guys better get used to this. Well, Jerome, we're not, and it's never going to be replicated.
So are you saying he's not a coach or a prophet?
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, speaking of storming the stage, now this would be highly unlikely of me to know this, but I was down at my daughter and son-in-law, so I watched the Duke North Carolina game. The Tar Heel fan jumped the gun a little bit and got on stage a little too fast, and they had to pull him back out and let one more or 0.4 of a second finish up on that game. Now, here's an interesting deal. Why do they just? Everybody knew they couldn't do anything with 0.4 seconds, and here's the bigger question, and I don't know the answer. When you shoot and make a basket, does the clock always automatically stop when the basket's made?
That's a good question. In the NBA, yes. In college, I don't think so.
So then why would there still be 0.4 tenths of a second left on the clock after that 3-point shot?
Because I think that's the time when fans first started getting on the court.
Well, but, I mean, by the time you get the ball, take it out of bounds, because the referee's got to touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's your 4 point, there's your 0.4 seconds. So anyway, I should have looked it up, but I didn't.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, send us a comment if you know the answer. Does the clock automatically stop after a basket's made in college basketball?
Yeah. But Phil, there's a rule in the NBA about that. I don't know if you knew this. It's called the Trent Tucker rule, basically stating if you have 0.3 seconds or less on the game clock, you
Game's
can't get
over.
a shot up.
Yeah.
You can't physically. It's got to be a tip in or a dunk.
Yeah. So here's the Phil McComb NBA rule.
No, here we go.
Yeah. If there's an NBA game on, I'm not watching it.
Come on. You're being too harsh. You're being too
No,
harsh.
I don't enjoy watching the NBA. I just don't enjoy it.
I think if you watch good postseason NBA basketball, it would change your outlook on it. But
Well,
I
I
don't think
think-
a lot of people are aware of that.
And maybe that's true because I have heard that they play defense a little harder in the playoffs. I am a playoff hockey fan.
Now,
Big
that's a good
playoff.
answer, too.
So I'm getting ready, mid-April is when the playoffs will start. I'm pumped. I'm going to be in Vegas a little bit too late. Their last home game on the schedule is the 17th of April. I'm going to get to Vegas on the 18th. So I'm like, oh, man. And they might be, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they'll probably host a game, but I bet money the playoff tickets are a little more expensive than regular season tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I definitely.
I like the Vegas Knights. I like playoff hockey. I like it.
I've been getting a kick out of. I've been watching a lot of the San Jose Sharks, and man, they're just entertaining. A bunch of young guys.
Yeah,
Goalies fought the other night. Who doesn't love a good goalie fight? Just
no
send them
doubt.
both to the box.
No doubt. That's pretty cool.
Well, Phil,
So, what's our next topic?
Kansas basketball.
All
Kansas.
right. Just remind anyone that missed it. Cray and I have a bet. He's guaranteeing what?
I'm guaranteeing it. If Kansas doesn't make the Sweet 16, Phil can just take everything I own.
I own everything that Cray owns becomes mine.
Yeah.
KU has to make the Sweet 16 otherwise.
I'm that confident in this team. And you know what the funny thing is, Phil, is I should be. They took down the number one team in America without Darren Peterson, without their superstar player. And I'm going to go off on a tangent real quick about Darren Peterson because him not playing is annoying, not only for us Kansas fans, but for basketball fans.
Yeah.
I really do think he's the most talented Kansas Jayhawk to ever put on the jersey when it comes to straight basketball talent. He's probably the most talented player we've seen in college basketball history, period.
Yeah.
The only problem, it's like that scene in Moneyball where they're like, hey, what's his only defect? Darren Peterson's only defect? He doesn't like playing basketball.
Is that right, you think?
I think it has to be at some point. And Bill Self will tell you all about it that no, this guy wants to go more than anyone else. But that's just a media answer.
Yeah.
At some point, your competitive nature when you're playing the number one team in America needs to take over and say, look, I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care if I'm running a fever. I'm playing in this game. Look at Michael Jordan. Everybody remembers the flu game. Why can't Darren Peterson replicate that?
Yeah. If anybody in Jayhawk country knows Bill Self, wants to get him on the show, reach out to him and we'll love to have Bill Self answer these questions. Because like you said, you think it's a media answer that, he wants to play. But there is a problem. He's not playing. Mm-hmm. That's reality. Why?
To an extent, I really do believe it is, hey, you're going to be the number one overall pick in the NBA draft next year. No matter what, you are guaranteed millions of dollars, more than you're making in college right now, which he's only making just a little under $2 million is what I understand. Regardless, just a little under.
Only a little under $2 million?
Yeah.
Well, that's my offer to go to UNT, so we'll get on that here in a little bit too.
But yeah, you're going to make, that tenfold if you go to the NBA next year, be the number one overall pick. And maybe he's saving himself for that, and I understand that. But at the same time, there are going to be scouts out there that are seeing you not playing and probably be a little concerned about it.
Right. And isn't this what hurt ultimately Shedeur Sanders in the NFL draft? Was not his ability, but his attitude.
I think more than anything, it was his attitude. I still get the biggest laugh out of it because the people that were interviewing him, the GMs and the head coaches, one came out anonymously and said it was the worst interview I've ever been at in my entire life.
I only wish that guy would have put his name behind the statement. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut.
Really?
Absolutely. If you're not willing to put your name on what you're going to say, then don't say it.
I think that's fair to a point. But at the same time, we wouldn't get half of the information we get if we didn't have anonymous people saying.
I'm going to take the opposite angle here and say a lot of that information is unsubstantiated. That's sports, politics, coffee shop talk.
Yeah.
Bitching about the weather, complaining about the price of gas, wheat.
Oh, well, we can't complain about the price of gas right now.
$1.99 in Dodge City, Kansas, everybody.
$1.99, yeah.
I'll
never complain about that.
Yeah, it is good to be in Dodge City.
Yeah. But
Kansas, by the way.
Back to Kansas, the basketball team, not the state. They look great and maybe potentially better without Peterson on the floor. I think Peterson's a great superstar that can take over when he needs to, and then he knows his role when to just play in the offense. However, they look great without him. Council Jr., Badunga, they've looked really good. Flory's been playing basketball for 7 years now. He's averaging 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. They look good. This was an Arizona team that was dominating the nation in points in the plate and in the paint. And Flory Badunga made these guys look like little kids down low.
Yeah. They, I want to say Arizona got out-coached.
I would agree with that.
I want to say that Bill Self got his team up for that game. Now, here's a stat. I might be wrong, so verify me if I say this wrong and anybody out there looks it up, send me a whatever you call it message and tell me I was wrong. But here's what I was told on Big Monday. Bill Self is undefeated.
Against ranked opponents, you are 100% correct.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
How great and against ranked opponents, man. Wow. I mean, that's a tough game to play and stay consistent. I think it's like 39-0 now.
Yeah.
Not 1-0, not 2-0. 39 times he's won in front of the big lights on Monday night, ESPN Big Monday. That's a big deal.
Here's your fun fact. Did you know KU had never beaten the number 1 seed, the number 1 AP poll at home?
I did know that.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's wild. Here's another fact. Bill Self has a better winning record than Nick Saban has at Alabama. And how many more games has Bill Self played compared to Nick Saban's career as a head coach?
A lot. A lot.
Yeah. Probably three times as many games, at minimum 3 times as many games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got a better winning percentage than Nick Saban.
Yeah. Phil, here's the thing is we were talking about court storming, and I had to pull it up. Do you know the last time Kansas stormed the court at home?
Right after I sang the national anthem?
Close.
Okay.
It was before I was born. It was January 27th, 2003. Roughly 150 students stormed the court after a 90-87 win over the number 3 ranked team in the nation in Texas.
Wonder why that was such a big win.
Why not? I mean, you'd storm the court. You hate Texas that much.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I mean, that's like, they were overrated. We just beat an average Texas team because they're always average.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
All right.
Big 12 in full effect. I don't know if you saw it. Their courts, they're going to have the LED glass floor courts for the Big 12 tournament. I'm excited for that. We're probably going to see 1 billion pop-up ads. But it's cool. It's revolutionary. And I think it's something that we're going to see become relatively normal in 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Now, is the Big 12 tournament, is that in Kansas City again at the T-Mobile Center, or is it in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. Because weren't they moving it to Dallas for 1 or 2 years?
I don't think so.
No. For some reason, I thought it went to Dallas playing at the American Airlines Center. Or no, sorry. Yeah, maybe it was. It was either AT&T. Well, interesting. Does Dave Armstrong still do the call for the Phillips 66 Big 12 basketball tournament?
That's a good question. I don't quite know. I did just look it up. It is set to be in Kansas City through 2031.
Okay. So Dave Armstrong used to be the sports guy at a radio station where I was at KKOI in Chanute, Kansas. Dave came there right out of college and was the play-by-play guy for Chanute. And then he's gone on, of course, to do great things. And he was the play-by-play for the Colorado Rockies. And also, he's I don't know how long he's done the Phillips 66 basketball game, and I'm not sure he still does it.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You worked with some pretty cool guys.
I didn't work with Dave. He just was at the same radio station I was before I was there. Dale McCoy was the owner. He was my mentor, the one I talk about the most. So Dale had a lot of good guys come through there. Gary Nemec came through there. He went on to be the play-by-play for Tulsa Hurricanes. What was that guy's name? That was the first play-by-play guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brian, Brian, it'll come to me. That guy was also on the first Bachelorette. Yeah. What was his name? Anyway, and then we hired a guy named Brock Bowling.
Brian Sexton. How about that?
Brian Sexton, that's right. Yeah, Brian Sexton. And then we hired Brock Bowling. He came out of the University of Kansas. All these guys. Dale was good friends with Tom Hedrick, who was the dean of the broadcast department at the University of Kansas, or the School of Broadcasting. So, Hedrick's got the claim he broadcast a NFL Super Bowl and an NCAA national championship.
Now, I wonder how many. I bet less guys can say that than they can have won a national championship and a Super Bowl. Because only 3 of them can say that.
Yeah, I mean, he's in that era, like with Jim Nantz, with Kevin Harlan, maybe Maybe, I don't know if Al Michaels did basketball, did he?
I don't think Al Michaels ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. There's very few people in that club,
Yeah.
and he's still very well thought of. He's still alive. Last I heard, Tom's 91, 92.
Mm. Okay. Well, Phil, I'll let you take over here. I've simmered off a little bit from talking about KU basketball and my hatred for Jerome Tang, so I'll let you take the floor.
Well, I was going to go back to UNT. I had some people ribbing me about it, saying, are you just bluffing here? I'm like, no, I'm not bluffing. I'm not bluffing. UNT should be a dominant college football program, period. It's in the most fertile part of the United States of America when it comes to football. And I did some research, and I'm going to share it with you guys. So if you know any friends from UNT or any of your friends from North Dallas or South Oklahoma, share this with them, and let's get the ball rolling here. I'll take over the job at UNT. We'll call my position general manager rather than head coach, but I'll function as the head coach. And we're going to hire a defense and offensive coordinator. We're going to hire a special teams coordinator. And we're going to hire a recruiting coordinator / NIL coordinator. And we're going to grow this thing huge. It's a marketing problem, Cray. It's not a football or sports problem. It's a marketing problem. And I'm going to tell you this. Listen to these numbers, Cray. The top 250 players signed for college football out of high school for this incoming class, right? Take a wild guess how many of those kids are from Texas, which I would call North Texas. I tried to stay away from, I picked up one kid from San Antonio, but I stayed away mostly from Houston and Austin and San Antonio.
Well, those are the towns I would stay away from too, so I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a guess here and say top 250. I'm going to go 60 of them.
How many? 60?
60, yeah.
36.
36, okay.
36 out of 250. That's 15% of the total.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally field a team off of these kids that I've got on this list. The number one overall kid was from Spring, Texas, which is down by Houston. But then you've got Mansfield, Texas is in the DFW Metro. Richardson, Texas is in the DFW Metro. Frisco, Texas is in the DFW Metro. And Frisco, Texas. And DeSoto, Texas. I mean, these are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. And I'm only at number 60 in the United States. And so what I'm saying here, guys, is that why aren't these kids going to UNT? I'll tell you why. I said it earlier. One of my first mentors said, in order to be $1 million radio station, you got to act like $1 million radio station. In order for UNT to be a top program in the United States in football, they got to act like one. They got to expect to win. That's why Kansas doesn't rush the court after they beat a team, because they expect to win. That's why you go to Kansas. You're going to win. Just win, baby. Al Davis.
So you don't think it's a money problem? And if so, how would you?
Well, UNT, it's a marketing problem and it's a money problem. They should have, and then in Dallas, Texas, it should be the biggest bowl of NIL money that you can make. Dallas, Texas should be the biggest bowl of money. And if you want to tell me that the University of Texas is taking it, I'll tell you who signed a lot of these kids in the top 250, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Texas Tech. And I'll tell you another school that signed a lot of them, LSU. LSU keeps a lot of their kids at home. Man, if you're growing up in the Bayou State, you're going to LSU. A lot of kids going to LSU. Notre Dame looked like they got a pretty good set of crops. Man, that kid from Great Bend listed number 26. The two kids from the state of Kansas listed in the top 100, or maybe I guess one of them's like 103. Neither one of them went to KU or K-State. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah. You're talking about Ian Primer from Great Bend, 5-star tight end. And first off, shout out to Kansas, because they have had just an incredible amount of talent at the tight end position over the last couple of years. This year, I mean, we've got over the last 2 years, we've had 3 super talented tight end prospects. Obviously, Ian Primer, Lincoln Cure, who is a 5-star, first ever 5-star at Kansas State. And then we've got a kid from Pratt, Kansas, who just committed over to Colorado State as well. He was a 3-star prospect.
Yeah. Well, So that's my deal. It's a bad thing. I don't love NIL, but it's the rule. It's the way that it goes. And so what this tells me, if UNT's not getting these kids, it means UNT doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah. So how would you plan on selling that? Hey,
Well, like I said one time, Cray, and I'll say it again, that I would go to business there. We would make it a business proposition, and that those business owners would be part of. If they don't have a radio network, we're going to build a radio network. If they don't have a TV network, we're going to build a TV network. We're going to go and do things at UNT like a business. We're going to treat it that way in a media marketing business. Dallas is the fourth largest DMA in the United States. Think about that. I mean, it's over 8 million people in that DMA, and it should have a bigger deal. So a car dealer, I would go to one of the car dealers and we'd sell them tickets to the game, so that then we'd give those tickets away. Because the whole idea is to make the University of North Texas what it stands for, the University of North Texas. Let's get all these kids from UNT or into UNT from North Texas and South Oklahoma. There's a kid, I didn't write it down, I don't have it, but he's going to OU, and he's from, I think, Salina. Salina is just north of Prosper. There's another kid from Prosper. I think he's going to Miami. And Prosper and Salina are like probably 20 miles away from each other, maybe less. And to go to UNT, maybe a 25-minute drive for both of them.
well, Phil, I'm going to ask you two questions and to build on this. First off, what do you say to the kids that just say, hey, we need to get away from our family for a little bit. We need
They
to
can be at college. They get the full college experience in Denton, Texas, but now their family can drive 20, 30 minutes to come watch them, or even 2 hours. Their friends and family can come to the game and watch them. Who's going to go watch that boy play in Miami?
I mean, that's a good question, but at the same time,
Oregon.
they've
South
got a better
Bend.
college atmosphere, though.
Yep.
Miami is one of the best college party atmospheres in the world. That means something to a kid, all right?
But let's go to, okay, put Miami on the schedule then. Let's go play Miami.
And you just want to fill your schedule with ranked.
Oh, I might even become an independent just like Notre Dame. And I just say, if they can do it, we can do it.
Phil, my final question is for you. What do you say to the recruits that are saying, hey, you guys really haven't produced any NFL talent, and that has always been my dream, is to go on to the NFL?
Sure, but the talent is in the talent. It's not, you're talented. How many guys in the NFL played at Alabama? Not all of them.
No.
How many played at USC? Not all of them. So there's a lot of players that played for teams you've never heard of. You've never heard of them. Never heard of that school. So that's the whole idea. Yeah, it'll take a minute to turn this boat around, but we're going to get out of the portal as much as possible. That doesn't mean we won't pick up a JUCO kid every now and then, but we're going to get out of that portal transfer as much as possible. We're going to recruit kids that are going to come and have a chance to play at a top level university and compete against top level athletes. That's how you get drafted, Cray. When I'm an offensive line playing against the 5-star guy at Notre Dame or the 5-star guy at the University of Texas, and I win that battle, that's how I get in the NFL. Not because I played at Michigan or played at Alabama. I don't get to go to the NFL because I played for a team. I get to go to the NFL because I won the battle that the scouts saw on tape. That's why I go to the NFL.
I love it. Well, Phil, I'll tell you what, if you don't get a job at UNT, you're probably going to end up with one at K-State as their head basketball.
Oh, dang. I'm not a very good basketball player, so let's just keep that on the table there. And the offer is $1.5 million through the end of February, and then it goes up to $1.75 in March. Cray's my agent, so if you're interested, give Cray a call, and he'll take care, let you know how to get a hold of me. And if you're out there in Texas, share this with your friends. If you're in Kansas, share this with your friends. I say Texas, Cray. The most people listening to us or tuning in are from Texas.
Yeah, that is 100% right. They account for 8% of all views.
Yeah, second biggest market, I think, is Oklahoma. So if you're in Kansas,
I love it. I love it. Phil, that is going to do it for Time on Sports Talking right here on SWKS Radio. I'm Cray.